Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Fabrizio Romano here, as always, to keep you posted on the transfer market. Today, guys, we touch on several things. We have some news on Wonderkids, something to say also on Raphinha, Victor Osimhen, something to clarify. Let's jump into it together. Aquí vamos. Sabemos que el internet está lleno de bloqueos y restricciones, pero no te preocupes, ProtonVPN tiene la solución para ti. Con más de 11.500 servidores en 115 países, navegarás rápido, seguro y sin limitaciones, además sin registros, lo que significa que tu actividad online se mantiene privada. Y aquí viene lo mejor, tienes una oferta exclusiva. Solo tienes que escanear el QR en la pantalla o hacer clic en el enlace de la descripción para aprovecharla. No te lo pierdas, con ProtonVPN tendrás la libertad para navegar como quieras. A por ello. And so guys, here we are today with all the updates, also young talents, and today I wanted to start with young talents before entering also on big names, but today we have an exclusive. Here we go, an information I told you in the recent hours, a player who was wanted by Barcelona and Real Madrid. Yes, because there were conversations with Real Madrid for the opportunity to enter as part of the academy, conversations with Barça to eventually be part also in the future of the first team. The player is Antonito Cordero. He's a very talented player, 18 years old, from Malaga, out of contract, approached by several clubs around Europe, but especially Real Madrid and Barcelona wanted to bring in this player on a free. It was a big opportunity, but Antonito Cordero has agreed to become a new Newcastle player. So here we go, it's a done deal. Newcastle fans can be excited because Antonito Cordero in his position, he's a winger, can be a player really interesting for the future with a big potential. The expectation, from what I understand, is for Antonito Cordero to go on loan. So he's very young, 18, obviously Premier League level is different, so he will need some time to adapt, to understand obviously what it means to play at that level, and so a loan is the most likely solution. Now they are discussing for the best option possible, but for sure Antonito Cordero will be a new Newcastle player for present and future, and so an interesting signing, beating Real Madrid and Barcelona in the race. And then one more, and this Sverre Nypan, this talent, Norwegian talent from Rosenborg, because Aston Villa are close to reaching an agreement for Nypan to join the club, winning a crazy race. Because on Nypan there was interest really from several clubs. He's another gem on the market, in this case not on a free, so there is a negotiation needed club by club, and the conversation is still ongoing between Aston Villa and Rosenborg. Also conversation with the player also visited Aston Villa recently to see their training ground, to understand the project directly from the director Monchi, from the coach Unai Emery, who also met the player. So Sverre Nypan is close to joining Aston Villa, but still waiting on details of the deal to be completed. On Sverre Nypan, we can say that Manchester City, so City Football Group, Man City, Girona, wanted to sign the player. They were in conversations in January, then the player decided to wait a bit because there was also interest from Arsenal. So these two clubs were offering different projects to the player. For Arsenal was the case to bring in as part of the first team and start adapting to a new football. For Man City, the idea was go to Girona and then future to Manchester City under Pep Guardiola. So two different projects, but Aston Villa can offer probably game time with the first team, and so they are working to convince the player. Negotiations underway with Aston Villa. Then guys, I wanted to clarify something else also on Manchester United. First of all, Johnny Evans is about to leave the club. We already said about Christian Eriksen, Victor Lindelof, these players will go. We have to add also Johnny Evans to this list because maximum respect from Manchester United, but the idea is now to move on and for next season to trust young players, so they prefer to include young players as part of the team, as Ruben Amorim did this season with Heidenheim and more players. So that's the view, more than trusting old players. That's what Ruben Amorim wants to do, again with maximum respect for John Evans. So he's about to leave the club at the end of the season. And then many questions, guys, I'm getting asked about Raphinha, because there is some rumor around, I think from England or from Spain, I have no idea, but really many questions on Raphinha and Manchester United. Guys, let me clarify one thing. Raphinha is more than happy at Barcelona. He's having an incredible season, so that's absolutely the case. Raphinha is in initial conversations with Barcelona over new deal. So there was some contact, like, okay, let's discuss the contract, let's see what can happen in the next months. It's not something that is being agreed now or is being closed now, but some initial approach to discuss eventually new contract for Raphinha, who is under contract at Barca till 2027, so there is still plenty of time. And also remember what Hansi Flick did 1 year ago when he arrived at Barcelona. Called Raphinha and said, you stay here, you are part of my team, you are a crucial part of the squad. So the intention from Barca is absolutely to trust Raphinha. And also, guys, honestly, financially, for Manchester United to go and sign a player like Raphinha would be quite complicated, because we know they have to respect the balance, the financial fair play will be important. So this kind of signing would be really complicated, not just unlikely, but also not so realistic in this moment. And so probably for Man United the view will be different. We mentioned Liam Delap as one of the players they want in a battle with Chelsea to sign the striker, but also more players, but Raphinha in this moment is probably out of reach, and also I'm not aware of any concrete conversation. Also, guys, I wanted to add something more on Victor Osimhen, because first of all, it's important to clarify that despite the rumors we're having in the last 2-3 days, also in this case with maximum respect with Galatasaray, we saw some statement, also some news saying that Galatasaray want to keep Victor Osimhen. We can understand their desire, because Osimhen is doing fantastic. He's a superstar, he's beloved by the fans, so it's absolutely normal, the desire from Galatasaray to keep the player at the club. But I can tell you, also in this case, is really not realistic. The reality is that Victor Osimhen is fully expected to leave Galatasaray, to return to Napoli and leave Napoli. Osimhen is not staying at Napoli. Osimhen is most likely not staying at Galatasaray, and Osimhen is gonna assess, starting from the next weeks, so already from May, is gonna assess the potential options on the table. Options that could be in several countries. Premier League, because that's still a possibility for Victor Osimhen. Saudi, because remember that Osimhen on deadline day 2024 was almost joining Al Ahly. Osimhen had an agreement done with Al Ahly, so Osimhen wanted to go to Al Ahly. The deal collapsed because Al Ahly and Napoli were fighting on the price, and then Al Ahly got tired. There were a few hours and they decided to close the deal for Ivan Toney, but Osimhen wanted to go to Al Ahly, so Saudi is an option, Premier League is an option. And then also, let's see what happens in Serie A, because for example also Juventus are looking for a striker. We said about Højlund, they have several options in their list. Obviously Napoli hope not to sell the player to Juventus, that's the clear message coming from Napoli, so he's surely not an easy one. But Victor Osimhen's situation in general will be really interesting, because my expectation is for the player to leave Galatasaray, and also 100% for the player to leave Napoli. He's not staying at Napoli. Remember that the release clause is 75 million euros, and Napoli want to sell the player as soon as possible. So the intention of all parties involved is not to have another saga with Osimhen till mid-August, end of August, final days of the market. The intention is to sort the situation already in June, avoid any case during the whole summer, let the player settle in a new club in the best way possible. Napoli will make profit and they will be all happy with the situation. That's the view, that's the approach. But in this moment, guys, I'm not aware of anything agreed for Victor Osimhen to stay at Galatasaray, and the expectation is still for Osimhen to be available on the market, to listen to proposals, to look at the contract, to look at the project. So let's wait for that. Let's see what kind of project he will pick, but for sure Osimhen will be one of the names of the summer, because the expectation is to leave Napoli and also leave Galatasaray at the end of the season, obviously with maximum respect. Also in this case, as we said for John Evans, Osimhen is fighting for Galatasaray, he's giving his best to Galatasaray, wants to win the title with Galatasaray, so Osimhen is gonna fight as always. He's a super professional till the end of his loan, and then it's gonna be time for a new move. And so, guys, let me know your thoughts on all these stories from Victor Osimhen, where do you see him going, and also Raphinha, but also Cordero, Nypan, these Wonderkids moving on the market. Guys, I want your opinion here in comments. Remember to like this video, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel. See you soon. Ciao.